Imagine mocking something that you thought was insignificant, only for it to change the course of your life forever. Imagine turning your back on something sacred, something that Allah Himself commanded, only to watch tragedy strike in the most unexpected way. This is the story of a man who once mocked the hijab and how it led him to face a harsh reality. Are you ready for the truth? Let's dive into this story, because it's one you need to hear. He was just like many of us, a man with opinions, a man who lived in a world of convenience, where it was easy to overlook the things that didn't immediately impact him. Hijab? Just cloth, right? He didn't think much of it. He mocked it, made jokes, and laughed with his friends when they made light of it. His sister? She wore it, her choice. But he didn't understand. In his mind, it was just a piece of fabric, something that didn't really matter. How could something so small carry such weight? How could something as simple as a scarf change so much? He didn't get it. He never understood the depth of it. Then one day, everything changed. It was a moment that no one could have ever predicted, a moment that would forever alter his view on life and on hijab. His sister, the one he'd mocked, the one he'd taken for granted, was in a tragic accident. She was on her way to school when the unthinkable happened. The news hit like a ton of bricks, a car crash. She was gone. The sister he once mocked, the sister who wore the hijab with pride, was now lying cold, lifeless. But the real heartbreak came when he learned of her last moments. The doctor said she was found with her hijab still on. The scarf, the one he once made fun of, was the last thing she wore when she passed. In those final moments, it wasn't just fabric. It was a symbol of her faith, her connection to Allah. And it was her protection. It was a shield against the world. It was her declaration that she belonged to her Creator, not to this fleeting world. The man fell into a deep pit of regret. He couldn't stop thinking about how he'd treated his sister. The laughter, the jokes, how could he have been so blind? How could he have mocked something so pure when she was living with a strength he hadn't understood? But the story doesn't end there. This wasn't just a moment of personal regret. This was a wake-up call from Allah. Allah's signs are never too far. He speaks to us in ways we may not understand at first, but when we reflect, we see His wisdom and mercy. The man realized something important. The hijab wasn't just a piece of cloth. It was a statement of faith. It was a woman's obedience to Allah, her modesty and her dignity. It wasn't something to mock, but something to admire. He realized that his sister had lived a life full of honor, and that Allah had accepted her, even in her final moments. And this man's life changed from that moment on. He stopped mocking the hijab. He started respecting it, and he began to appreciate the strength it represented. He also began to reflect on his own life, on his relationship with Allah, and how easily we can get caught up in worldly things. He became a different person, someone who would now defend what he once ridiculed. And every time he saw a woman in hijab, he didn't see just a piece of cloth. He saw strength, modesty, and a commitment to Allah. But the change didn't just stop with him. It affected those around him. His family, his friends, they saw the shift in his character. They saw how deeply his sister's death had affected him. And many of them began to reflect on their own actions too. What can we learn from this man's story? We all have our flaws, our weaknesses. But the question is, how do we face our mistakes when they're revealed to us? If you've ever mocked something sacred, if you've ever dismissed someone's faith or struggle, take this as a reminder. Life is fragile. We may think we have all the time in the world, but the truth is we don't. We're not promised tomorrow. We don't know when we'll be tested, but when that test comes, how will we respond? Will we regret our actions, or will we choose to correct them before it's too late? This man's story is a wake-up call. It's a reminder that we don't know when Allah will take us or those we love. The moment you mock something as sacred as hijab or anything related to your faith, remember, there may be a moment in your life that changes everything, a moment that will make you see things in a completely different light. So, reflect today. Do you truly understand the beauty of the hijab? Are you truly living a life of respect and reverence for the things that matter to Allah? Remember, we all have a chance to change. It's never too late as long as we're still breathing. Make the decision today to embrace respect, embrace faith, and to never mock what Allah has made sacred.